If every time when you speak English you translate from Spanish to English, there is a big chance you are making some very typical mistakes. Not everything can be directly translated into English. Do you want to see if you are making typical Spanish speaking mistakes when you speak English? Let's check it out in this video. So we have a plan. First, I will show you 10 Spanish sentences and I will ask you to translate them into English. Do not Google it. Do not ask your friends. Just do it by yourself. Then come back to me and we will go one sentence at a time to see how normally Spanish speakers translate the sentence and how you actually are recommended to say that thing in English. Are you excited? Let's get started.
Here are the sentences. Pause the video and translate them all.
Sentence number 1. La reunión dura 2 horas. Most Spanish-speaking students try to translate this sentence as the meeting during 2 hours. The problem here is the word during is a preposition. It's not a verb, so I cannot use it as the verb of the sentence. So it's not during. Do you know what the correct verb is? The correct verb is last. So we say the meeting lasts 2 hours. Lasts. Let's see how to use this verb in a context. Listen carefully.
How long did your marriage last?
It lasted a year.
Oh, it didn't last too long.
I hope yours will last longer.
God, I hope it lasts.
Now you know. La reunión dura 2 horas in English is the meeting lasts 2 hours. Sentence number 2. ¿Sabes hacer presentaciones? Most Spanish speakers would literally say, do you know to make presentations? But this literal translation does not really work here. We need to put some extra words into the sentence. So the correct, more normal, more common way to say that would be, do you know how to make presentation? Do you know how to?
You have no idea how to play bridge, do you?
Be aware that if you say learn to play, teach to play, you can say it both ways. You can say learn how to play the guitar or teach how to play the guitar, or also you can say learn to play, teach to play. But with the word know, we need to use how to. Know how to do something. Let's listen to a dialogue to see this expression in a context.
Do you know how to drive a truck?
Yes, and I know how to fly a plane.
Really? Do you know how to navigate a ship?
Yes, and a spaceship too.
So now you know, sabes hacer presentaciones in English is, do you know how to make presentations? Sentence number 3. Perdón por llegar tarde. If you translate it directly, you would probably say something like, sorry for coming late. Here we actually have a couple of mistakes. First one is that direct translation doesn't really sound natural here. And one of the most typical grammar mistakes that Spanish speakers make, they forget that after the prepositions, like for in this case, we need to use a verb in the ing form. Cooking, playing, coming. And the way how you would naturally say the sentence in English would be sorry for being late, or another more simple alternative would be sorry, I'm late. Let's listen to a dialogue.
Sorry, I'm late.
You're always late and you're always sorry for being late.
Not true. Yesterday, I was on time.
Right. You're not always late.
So now you know. To say perdón por llegar tarde in English, you would say sorry for being late or sorry, I'm late. Number 4, again, if you want to translate this sentence directly, you would say, do you know Germany? But it's not how we say that in English. Do you know how to say it in a more natural way? Have you been to Germany? Be aware of the preposition to after been, right? We don't say in Germany, we say been to. Been to. Just memorize it as a combination of words.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
Have you ever been to Nice?
Have you ever been to Japan?
Have you been to? Let's listen to a dialogue to see how people use it in a context.
Have you been to any European country?
Yes, I've been to France and Spain. You?
I've been to France once.
Really? When?
I visited Paris last year.
I would like you to pay attention here because you see in the last sentence, we don't say I have visited Paris because we have an exact time period when it happened. And when we say when things happened, we forget about present perfect, have visited, have been. We use normal past simple tense. ¿Conoces Alemania in English is? Have you been to Germany? Number 5. This sentence is normally directly translated incorrectly as I want that he goes. As you may understand, the direct translation does not work here either. This is not how we say this sentence, but also irse and ir in Spanish are not the same verbs. So I cannot translate se vaya as go or goes. It's a different verb. Do you know how to say it correctly? I want him to leave. I want him to leave. If this structure is a bit weird and complicated for you, I recommend you to check out my video on how to say things like quiero que se vaya o necesito que me ayudes. Let's listen to a dialogue to see how people use it in a context.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to listen to me, please.
I'm listening. Do you want me to close the door?
Yes, I want you to tell me the truth.
I already did. Trust me.
Now you know how to say quiero que se vaya in English. And you would say, I want him to leave. I want him to leave. When most Spanish speakers try to say this sentence, they would actually say, can we see us later? As you may guess, that's not how we say this in English because we cannot translate it directly. And the way how we would say it is, can we meet later?
Can we meet? Absolutely.
If it was, puedo verte más tarde, then I could actually say, can I see you later? But if it's about two people and we want to meet, we don't want to see each other, we want to meet. So we say, can we meet later? Let's listen to a context.
Can I see you tomorrow at 5?
I can't. I'm working until 7.
Okay, can we meet later?
We can meet at 9 at my place.
Sounds great. I'll be there.
To say, podemos vernos más tarde in English, you would say, can we meet later? Can we meet later? So the first part of the sentence is not a big deal. I'm working now. Normally, if you translate it directly, there is no problem. The problem appears in the second part because most people would say, my baby has 1 month. Is that what you said? I hope not, because the direct translation here does not work. We would not say has exactly the same way that if you talk about your age, you would not say I have 30 years. So here we also do not say has. We would say my baby is 1 month old. My baby is 1 month old. Let's listen to a dialogue.
How old is your sister?
The youngest one is 3 weeks old.
And the oldest one?
She's 34 years old.
We're the same age. Nice.
So you see, months, weeks, years, centuries, millennials, we don't care. We have exactly the same structure.
So I'm just gonna give you the cupcake. I don't know. It's 4 days old. I just ate.
If you go to a forest and you see a very old tree, you would actually say this tree is 1,000 years old. No difference. Weeks, months, years. And now you know To say, mi bebé tiene un mes, in English, you would say, my baby is 1 month old. Number 8, we are getting closer to the end of this video. We just have 3 more sentences. And let's see how you translated this one. Did you say, I'm agree with you? If you say that, then you made one of the most typical mistakes. Because in English, we do not translate the sentence like that. We do not use am in this sentence, and we say, I agree with you, because the word agree is a verb. And we do not say, I am. The same way you wouldn't say, I am go, I am play. You say, I go, I play.
I agree.
Easy. Now, let's listen to a dialogue.
Everybody wants to be happy
I agree with you.
and rich.
I can't say I agree with this idea.
And now you know, to say estoy de acuerdo contigo, in English, you would say I agree with you. I agree with you. And if you do not agree, you say I don't agree or I disagree with you. We do not use am in positive or negative sentences. There's no difference. Okay, sentence number 9. How did you translate this one? If you said the people likes to dance, welcome to the club. Many people make exactly the same mistake. And here we have a couple of things. First of all, we don't say the if we talk about everybody, general crowd, not specific people, right? In this case, we are not talking about specific people. Unless we do, then you would say the people, talking about these people. But if you're not talking about specific people, we say people. And the word people is plural, which means that we do not say likes.
People do.
People come, people go. People are people.
So we, of course, say people like to dance. People like to dance. Let's listen to the context.
People are so nice here.
Yes, they are. Do you know anybody?
I know some people from sales. You?
Are these people your friends?
No, we just work together.
This is number 1 most common mistake that Spanish speakers make. So remember that when you say a la gente le gusta bailar, you would say people like to dance. And we got to our last sentence, and let's see if this one you wrote correctly. So the incorrect version would be, I'm thinking in open my shop. That's what you've said? I hope not, because this is not correct. And here we have 2 mistakes inside this sentence. So first of all, the preposition after the word think is not in. We say think of or think about. If you have problems with prepositions, check out my video on 10 most common preposition mistakes. But after we finish this one first. And then also there's a mistake of the fact that after prepositions, as we already saw in one of the previous mistakes, after the preposition we use the verb with the ing form. Cooking, playing, opening. So knowing that, what is the correct way to say this phrase in English? And it is, I'm thinking of opening my own shop. Thinking of opening. You wouldn't say about in this case. If you have problems with that, let me know and I will tell you the difference between of and about. You would say think of opening. Let's listen to a dialogue.
I'm tired of working here.
Do you have any alternative?
I'm thinking of starting my own business.
I'm thinking of doing the same thing.
Great. Maybe we can do something together.
Okay, so now you know. To say estoy pensando en abrir mi tienda, in English we would say I'm thinking of opening my own shop. Okay, how was it? Let me know in the comments, and also let me know what other videos do you want me to make for you. Look forward to your responses and see you in the next video.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.